All right, folks, this is Zurich, and we need to talk about this video Oliver Anthony just released. It's a pleasure to meet you, part 2. There's a lot of stuff in this video that he said was wrong. And there's, he said some stuff that's fine, neutral, and correct. But that's not what I'm talking about here. He said some stuff that is very wrong in this video. And I want to start by saying I have nothing against the guy. Not even the slightest amount. He just seems like a dude. He's just some guy trying to live his life. He decided to write some music. He wrote some good music, with some lyrics that actually mean something, which new music doesn't really do that almost ever. You get these lyrics that sound great and they mean something, especially for the time they were released. And that's why everyone's behind this song right now, is because right now it means something. But let's go ahead and press play on a few parts of this video and talk about how wildly wrong he is about some of the things he's saying.
It's the one thing that has bothered me is seeing people wrap politics up into this. I'm
sorry?
to see, like, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news identify with me like I'm one of them.
What is he talking about?
Seeing certain musicians and politicians act like we're buddies, and
people wrap politics up into this. What are you talking about? Especially why specifically conservatives? Because you think conservatives are the ones wrapping politics up in it? I'm sorry, my man, but you wrapped politics up in it. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's take a look at something here. We got your song right here. Let's start from the first thing, the title of the song, Richmond, north of Richmond. I feel like I could be wrong here, but I feel like there's a place just north of Richmond that's extremely political. Let's see. We got a map here of the US, and this is Richmond. And if we just go north and we follow this main road, oh my God, it's Washington. What? Who? Oh, whoa. What? How'd that happen? My man, you wrap politics up in this. Let's take a look at what you're singing here, my man, and you'll understand why the right wing is identifying with you and why the left wing hates you. Now, you try to say that you think the left is doing it because they're retaliating. The left isn't doing it because they're retaliating. The left is doing it because they identify as the villains of your song. Let's take a look at this. So, you're singing about making no money and wasting your life away. That's what these first two verses are. Very poetic, very well written. Now, you're saying, well, we're living in a new world. Are Republicans making that new world? What do you mean a new world? What are you talking about? The Republicans have been doing the same corrupt, evil shit that they've been doing since as long as I've been alive. They're not doing anything new. So what are you talking about? We bring up the Richmond, north of Richmond again. Lord knows they all just want to have total control. Control what you think, want to know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. Man, oh man. What are you talking about? You don't happen to be talking about the left, right? Specifically, the left wing is doing that right now. They are tracking everything you say. Everything. They talk about controlling how you think. They publicly talk about this. They talk about controlling how you think, controlling what you say, controlling what you do. They are communists. They are self-admitted communists. That's what they say, but really they're fascists because of the way they work with corporations hand in hand to oppress the people of our country. They're fascists and communists at the same time. There's very little differences between those two things, but that's what they are. And yes, they want to know what you think. They track everything that you do. They want to control what you do. They want to control what you spend your money on. They want to control every aspect of your life. The Republicans, they just want to steal all your money and get rich. The dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end because of the rich men of north of Richmond. Well, isn't it the Republicans that keep talking about lowering the taxes and the Democrats who keep raising the taxes? Huh. Well, that's strange. I wonder why the right is identifying with your song. Let's continue. I wish politicians would look out for minors. The left hates miners, coal miners and all that stuff. They put so many sanctions on that crap, trying to shut that down, trying to make that a bad thing. They try to go after the hard worker like constantly. They mock the flyover states and the hard-working man constantly. At least the right wing pretend to care about the working man. The left doesn't even pretend anymore. Their mask is off. They've taken it off because they have full power. They don't care. They just tell you they hate you. And not just minors on an island somewhere. Well, who's coming for the children, my man? I don't know. Let's see. These are naked men and women. Those are fucking children.
You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once, you're correct.
What the fuck is this?
Convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly. And
what is this? Huh? I think they're going after the miners. And not just on an island somewhere. Everywhere. Writing books that try to teach kids all kinds of stuff. Like, I don't know, where as a minor, like, hey, this is Grindr. This is an app where you can read adult men and do things with them. Like, there's children's books that have that in it. Lord, we got folks on the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Do I even need to address this? Because I feel like I do. I feel like I do. The welfare state is a system that right now, the way it functions, does nothing but keep poor people poor. It gives them just enough money to keep them complacent and poor. This here, this is, you're talking about taxes. How are taxes not political? You're 5'3", 300 pounds. Taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Okay. How is that not political, my man? Especially you're talking about the welfare. Which political side wants more welfare and which political side wants less? Now, me personally, I think it's awesome that in our country, our poorest people tend to be fat. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That rather than dying of starvation, we die of heart disease. I still would prefer if we didn't do that. If they set up some food stamps in a way that made it so that people got healthy, that instead of regulating all this dumb shit, they regulated the food. They stopped letting them put unfermented soy in all of our damn food that does nothing but make people fat, and all these other things that in many other nations in the world are illegal. You know how many times people have gone abroad and in another nation they eat the exact same food in the exact same amounts, and for some reason they lose tons of weight. Then they come back to America, immediately gain it again. It's because of how our food's made here. It's because the companies work hand in hand with the government to screw over the people. They want them to be fat. They want them to be complacent. And they don't give a shit if you die from it. Also, I feel like this is one of the weaker parts of your song. Because this is no different than the good men putting themselves 6 feet in the ground. Because there ain't very many men 5'3", because you're talking about women primarily. People kill themselves in lots of ways. Lots of ways. Drugs, alcohol, guns, food. We're all killing ourselves in different ways in this nation nowadays. Hell, I've had a few friends die from drugs. I don't do drugs myself. I have my own vices. Fentanyl. Fentanyl's killing so many people. They're doing drugs until they die, and fentanyl's making it a lot faster. 3 of my friends. One of them was a friend since we were kids. They're just dead now. And those Richmond, north of Richmond, don't give a shit. That's political. It's very political. Because they could stop that fentanyl from coming over here. But they don't. They don't care. The right is talking about it a little bit. The left isn't talking about it at all. They don't give a shit. I'm reminded of another song. Those very strong lyrics. Did you exchange a walk-on part in a war for a lead role in a cage? They're talking about the draft, my man. There's a strong lyrics right there. Very strong for their time. Do you know that more Americans died last year of fentanyl than died in the entirety of the Vietnam War? Maybe that's why your fucking lyrics mean something. They're going to mean something different to everyone who hears it. But I can think of some young men who put themselves in the ground. My friends. And speaking of young men putting themselves 6 feet in the ground. Did you know that Canada, the left wing in Canada, this is a different country, but the left in the US too openly mocks the suicide rate. They don't care about it. They don't care that men kill themselves in wildly high numbers now. They mock it and laugh at it. I've seen countless cases of it. You know, in Canada, they made it legal for the state to kill people. State-assisted suicide. That's a thing in Canada now. And they recommend it to all kinds of people. A vet comes in, PTSD, they literally say, hey, have you thought about killing yourself instead? There's a pretty famous case of a woman who killed herself with the state-assisted suicide. She was trying to get an operation instead. She said she was in pain. She wanted an operation to fix her pain. The government said, no, we're not going to do that. But have you thought about killing yourself instead? And she's like, well, I don't want to kill myself, but if you're not going to stop the pain, then I would rather die. And so they killed her. How long do you think that's going to come before that comes to America? At the very least, they're going to consider it. We're overpopulated, my man. That's what the left says. They love reducing our numbers. They love people dying from heart disease and all this other stuff. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten for people like me and people like you. What do you mean? For the left? They're in power, my man. The world's going just the way they want it. Living in a new world. A brave new world, my man. A brave, brave new world we're living in. More Richmond, north of Richmond. This is a very political song. That somehow other people are politicizing your song. And that's it. You repeat it, and you end the song with the way you begin it. Almost as if you're just saying to yourself, it's an eternal song, because when are things going to change? They're not going to change. Very good song. Very good job. This, though, is a terrible video.
I'm disappointed to see, like, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify with me like I'm one of them. It was funny kind of seeing the response to it. Like, that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden, you know? It's a lot bigger than Joe Biden.
It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. Is he not a Richmond, north of Richmond? He's one of the most corrupt ones up there, my man. We have multiple laws that he is on the books having broken. Documented video evidence of him breaking huge laws. Ain't nothing gonna happen to him. Who are you talking about, if not him? Or are you doing the thing that the left does frequently, where they do nothing but accuse everyone else of the very things that they are doing? Like here recently, the left was accusing you of being some sort of plant to promote music that wouldn't actually be as popular otherwise. And you know what I thought when the left started saying that about you? I didn't think that was true, because you seem like a genuine guy. But what I thought was, oops, this is a new accusation I've never heard the left make. That means they're doing it. That means probably for years, they have been fakely promoting music. That's what I thought. Because that's what they do. Everything they accuse their enemies of doing, they have already done themselves. Literally everything. So maybe you're just a leftist and you're doing the same thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm talking a lot of shit about the left, but I hate the right too. I don't necessarily hate the right as much as I just hate everyone in charge of it. They're evil, greedy people. But you got evil, greedy people on this side, and you have evil, malevolent people who actively seek to harm you. The right is mostly just greedy. The left actively wants to harm you right now. You and your children. They openly talk about it now.
I guess starting to appreciate and understand what it is I'm really trying to say. It's hard to get a message out about your political ideology or your belief about the world in 3 minutes and some change. But I do hate to see that song being weaponized. Like I see the right trying to characterize me as one of their own, and I see the left trying to discredit me. I guess in retaliation.
It's not in retaliation, my man. It's not in retaliation. I know what you're trying to say when you said that. What you're trying to say is it's in retaliation of the right trying to take you as one of your own. No, they are retaliating, but they're retaliating because this song, they identify as the enemies. All the things you're complaining about are things that they have openly said that they support.
If you watch the response videos to this song, it's not conservative people responding to the song. It's not even necessarily Americans responding to the song. I don't know that I've seen anything get...
Well, that's just a lie. But I believe what you mean is not only conservatives and not only Americans. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, something the left almost never does, and assume that that's what you meant, because what you said was a lie. But I believe what you meant was not only. That, my man, is something that the left does not do. They always assume the absolute worst of your words. They interpret your words in the worst way possible so that they can use those words as leverage to control what you think and to control what you do. You know about that though, right? You sung about it.
Such positive response from such a diverse group of people. And I think that terrifies the people that I sing about in that song. And they've done everything they can the last 2 weeks to make me look like a fool, to spin my words, to try to stick me in a political bucket. And they can keep trying, but I'm just going to keep on writing.
What do you mean stick you in a political bucket? You stuck yourself in a political bucket, my man. Your words resonate with both the left and the right. They resonate with the right because the right's political enemy, the people, not the politicians, by the way. It resonates with the people of the right, the working man. It resonates with them because the shit is happening to them. And it resonates with the left because they identify as the villains in your song.
And I've got a lot of words to put down on paper, and I've got a lot of songs to put to chords, and I don't know what my music career is going to look like. I don't know how many shows I'm going to do and how many tours.
I hope you have a huge and successful career, as much as you want, at least. Maybe not bigger than you want, just the right. I hope you have all the success in the world. You seem like an honest person who cares about what they're doing and the people around them. But that doesn't change the fact that this video is terrible.
I'm going to write. I'm going to write, produce, and distribute authentic music that represents people and not politics.
You can't do that. You know why you can't do that? Because unlike the right, the left openly says en masse that everything is political. Everything. Constantly. Huge amounts of them. The leaders of the left wing, the random working followers of the left wing, they all say that literally everything is political. That's why they try to control everything. I personally think that's insane. I had no idea my spoon was political. I'm sitting there eating a bowl of cereal, and come to find out my spoon's a commie, apparently. But I didn't know. But the left taught me that apparently everything's political. So my commie spoon, I don't know what it's plotting. So I threw it out. Got rid of it. I gotta eat with my hands now. Wait, are my hands political? Shit, I gotta throw those out too.
I do feel compelled to address something. Since I have addressed the conservatives, I do need to address the left as well, because they're sending a message out that initial song that sort of shot me up the radar, Richmond, North of Richmond, is an attack against the poor. If you listen to my other music, it's obvious.
Dude, they don't care about the poor. They're just attacking you in whatever vector they think they can attack you. That's what they don't give it. There's nothing you can say other than to say that song is about the right and how much you hate the right and that Donald Trump is evil and that you love communism. That you start saying that, they'll line up right behind you, my man. But you got to stop saying all that other shit in your songs. You got to stop singing about the little guy and start singing about something else.
Is that all of my songs that reference class defend the poor. Doggone, it's a good example of that. Needles in the street, folks hardly surviving on sidewalks, highways, cars self-driving. The poor keep hurting and the rich keep thriving. It's like, that's what I like to sing about. And, you know, the English language is interpretive, and so I do understand, like, there may be some people who misunderstood my words in Richmond, North of Richmond.
Misunderstood your words? What you talking about?
My message, like with any of my songs, it references the inefficiencies of the government.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the politicians within it that are engulfed in bribes and extortion and...
Yes.
You know, the words say that there's people on the street with nothing to eat and the obese milking welfare.
Mm-hmm.
That references a news article I read earlier this summer that...
I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't need to hear anything else. I've already watched the whole video. You say some more, but I don't need to hear anything else. You know why I don't need to hear anything else? Because what you meant with the song doesn't damn matter. It doesn't damn matter. Artists, what they intended to create when they created art is fucking meaningless. The only thing that matters is the viewer. The person who looks or listens to your art, and the emotions and the way they interpret it are what matters. It matters to you what that song means. That's the difference between good art and shit art. Shit art can't be interpreted anything but one damn way, and it's niche and almost no one really consumes it. But good art mean a whole hell of a lot of things. For instance, you have it right down here. You say right here, minors, and then minors, M-E-M-O. Here's the thing, when people listen to your song, they can't tell the difference. They can't tell the difference, my man. You know what that means? That means that depending on what your damn plight is, you're going to internalize that message differently. You're a kid, and you're going to school, and people in power have been making inappropriate advances at you, then maybe you interpret both of these things to be O-R. Not just one, but O-R. Or maybe minors on an island somewhere. Obviously a reference to Epstein Island. Maybe actually, maybe it wasn't. But that's the way most people are going to interpret it. But you know how some people are going to interpret it? Because some people aren't going to care about that or know about that Epstein Island stuff as much. So instead, they're going to interpret that as talking about some people, not from our country, just some people on some island somewhere receiving billions of American taxpayer dollars. Other people are going to think about it as doing inappropriate shit to children. This is a perfect example. It's a perfect example. And there's way more interpretations than that when you listen to that song. No one gives a shit. Well, some people will. But let's just say when someone, the first time they hear your song and the first time all those emotions are invoked, your meaning is fucking pointless. It is about the interpretation of the person consuming the art. That is the only thing that matters, my man. So I have some advice. If you happen to see this and you happen to have watched it this long, you keep doing you. You keep writing songs. You keep doing you. Sing about shit you care about. Sing about shit you think other people care about. More importantly, things you care about, because you'll be a lot more passionate when you sing it. And don't worry about political parties wanting to associate with this song or that song. They'll sort themselves out just like they did with Richmond of Richmond. The left, who identifies as the villain in your song, sorted themselves into hating your song. And the right, who identified as people who are being assaulted by the left right now, identified positively with your song. And there's a lot of people in the middle who cared about it for various reasons that had nothing to do to them personally with politics. Even though your song is literally about the rich men in Washington trying to control every damn thing. Once again, as like I said, I wish you all the best. You keep doing you. You keep making music. You get paid and you make change, hopefully, in the world that you want to make. Because I guarantee that's why you're singing too. Your depressing ass song touched people because they're depressed as shit. What does that tell you? You're mad about the right identifying with your song. They identify with your song because they're tired of fucking being kicked. They're tired of paying too many fucking taxes. They're tired of all the shit in your fucking song. That's why they identified with it, my man. And the reason the left don't like it is because you're singing about them when they read this. When they hear this, I should say. When they hear this, they think you're singing about them. What you meant to say doesn't mean shit. But like I keep being very mean with my words. I apologize. You do you. Do you. I wish you all the success in the world. Stop getting hung up and stop trying to tell people that they're wrong for thinking something different about your song. That shit ain't gonna work for you. All that popularity you got is going to disappear real fast. Poof. If you start trying to alienate people and telling them they think the wrong thing when they listen to your song. They don't think the wrong thing, my man. They are the ones who live their lives. They know what they feel when they listen to your song. They're thinking the right thing because they feel their pain of what they lived. This is Xeric and I'm out.